to fix the worst behavior.
They're listening to a talk show, and they talk about updating the power grid, putting it underground would have a better service. It wouldn't go out in storms and shit like that. It wouldn't be interrupted. Should have been underground freaking years ago. They should have did it. But politicians won't allow them to charge more money on the power. Yeah, well, because rates never go down. They always go up, and they stay up. New Hampshire, right? Well, more New Hampshire, big part of Maine, right? I watch that show, Axe, and they go after old logs that were chopped down 100 years ago, and from being under the water, the water seeps in and it makes it look. It's for the rich, anyways. Each board is like $100 a foot. Except for 12 inches by 12 inches, like probably about $200-300. You know what I mean? It's so expensive because there's only so much of it. They make furniture with it, and these trees were enormous down Louisiana. Now all they got are twigs like this, like we got. See all the twigs? Those are twigs. They're not trees. At one time, all this were trees that were 600, 700, 800 years, and then when they peaked and died, another one would be right next to it. Wow. The greedy people that we were in the turn of the century, there was no regulations. They cut everything down. I used to see trees on land, right, that was never touched, and walnut trees, black walnut. And each tree back in the 70s was worth $2,000 a piece. $2,000, just boom. You know what I mean? They're probably $10,000 now, $14,000 if you can find them. Black walnut, beautiful tree. And now there's species of trees that we totally destroyed, wiped off the face of this earth. The whole planet's been being deforested, and you don't even realize it. Everybody wondering why there's more water in the atmosphere. The more you cut down trees, the trillions of gallons of water that those trees would have absorbed, the leaves, the tree itself, goes up in the atmosphere. This is why you're getting superstorms. See, we deforest the planet. Now the trees that are growing next to them are not the same type of tree. They're all twigs. This is where you got a lot of death. A lot of the trees, you see them, they're all not even the way they grow. They grow wrong. They don't grow straight up. The trunks don't get thick on them. See, that's about a 40 or 50-year-old tree right there. You know, I used to tell you, look at them, they're all dead. This is all dead. This all just died. This is chemtrailing right here. It puts the pH in the ground, and the trees die. It's too acidic for the tree. Trees can't adapt fast enough. This is what chemtrailing's doing. Now you got deforestation. You got down in the Brazil, right, and the Amazon. You have deforestation. Like they're just cutting. They don't care. They're burning constantly around the clock. Most of the trees that are growing now that we have are growing too skinny, and when they reach a certain point, the wind blows them over, they snap, or they just die. They're not healthy. In California, those trees that they have were 2,000 years old. And they even showed a wave that had come in, a tsunami that had hit, that was probably about 2 miles high. In Alaska and in California, where those trees were, you'll see where the new growth was. You know what I mean? It's like you see something took it all out 2,000 years ago, or you know what I mean, wiped out a good portion of the trees that were dead 2,000 years ago. They got hit with a tsunami. same thing's gonna happen sooner or later. But all those trees there today, all those trees today in California, the new ones that have grown, they're worthless. You can only use them for pulp. That's it. They don't have the density that a 2000 tree had. And those trees breed from the top down. They don't breed from the roots because they're too massive. They absorb the atmosphere from on top, rainwater from top. Well, you know, they'd be choked out because it's dark when you walk. You ever see the one you're driving a car through the tree? You know what I mean? What was it, redwood? The redwoods. See, this planet is going through. Why are you seeing superstorms? It's because of mankind. Chemtrailing, they're poisoning the ground. They're poisoning. What they're doing is they're changing the atmosphere. All right, to where death and destruction, like you got on a big scale, like what's happening in Japan. You know, now we're having nuclear days now. You don't know where that nuclear stuff is going. If you're breathing it in, you don't know. That's more pollution that's hitting it. Rainforest is being chopped down. All the trees that are growing today are all twigs. They can't get the old trees. Even when they replant them, they're not getting the same tree because the dirt is basically being polluted now. This is all by design, by the New World Order people. And they use the money and the wealth of the world to do it. Our money to kill us. And this is what they're doing. You think that superstorm we just got hit with is, you watch and see the storms we start getting at the rate we're going. People didn't know any of that stuff, did you? I told you, I'm a buff when it comes to the earth. I love the earth and everything about the earth. You know, you gotta walk through the woods all by yourself, you know, and stay there all day to understand what I'm talking about. You know, the quietness, the sounds, and all that stuff is going. I walk in the woods, you've got these vines that are growing now in all the forest. And what it's doing is strangling the roots and also strangling the tree. And then you got weeds growing around all the trees. These are other species that don't belong here. I think they're coming from the chemtrailing. They're dropping species of weeds. And they want to kill off the forest that we have. You got the beetle that when the tree dies, it's too late. When you know, when the tree is dead, that's when you know. The beetles fly away, it's too late. And Alaska took a beating up there, and they still are with the beetle. And now you got the weeds, and you got more water. You know, the soil is getting, the pH in the soil is through the roof. They did a number in Hawaii. These are the things. Nothing said to you people. It's all hush hush, you know. Well, I'm still breathing air. I'm still breathing air. Well, let me explain to you about air. Trees, right? One of their favorite foods is carbon dioxide. Poisons that we so gladly put in the atmosphere. And the trees take in carbon dioxide and they give us oxygen. Now, you cut down the trees, what happens? The Earth's air becomes more and more toxic, the air itself. Huh? If you go back 2,000-3,000 years ago, they're testing things out where the atmosphere had this, had a lot. Why did dinosaurs get so big on this Earth? They got so big on this Earth because the oxygen there was so much oxygen in the air that they grew to such massive sizes. You know, the dinosaurs got wiped out. You had the mammoth left. You know, the alligator is one of the only remnants of that period. You know? So now, things got smaller because of the oxygen. Yeah, the oxygen had everything to do with everything. You got more and more people. You know, nobody, like, everybody's building cities bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. All right, okay, yes, we have recycling. Yeah, that helps. It helps a big part of it. But everything being made today could be biodegradable if they wanted it to be. You know, that's something that should have been done years ago. You should see the shit that's in the ocean now. You watch Japan right now, the ocean's getting polluted by BP oil disaster, Fukushima. All right, all that, what's it, radium-233 going into the ocean. Right now, it's still going into the ocean. Now they're finding fish, radiation in it. It'll be only a matter of time before you see the oceans die. And then you watch how Japan, how they fish. They scoop up everything. We have nets where the small babies fall through. All right, where, you know, you get them when your net catches them when they're big enough. Japan don't do that. They grab everything, the smalls, the babies, everything. And they're fishing out a good part of the ocean. And they got these mammoth boats that just takes everything. Because they don't care. They have all these, China and Japan have all these friggin' stupid things that these, you know, come out with, like a gallbladder out of a friggin' bear. It's like worth a king's ransom. It's like 10 grand for it, you know, because they use it in their medicine and shit. So now you got poachers killing all the bears for their stupid gallbladder. You know, stuff like that. These are the things what we're doing. See, it's not only all the other shit. It's just mankind mankind is so destructive. Who's the guy? Gaia's Revenge. I've said it on my other videos. Gaia's Revenge. You know, the earth is gonna fight back, and it's gonna get rid of what's destroying her, which is what? See, all the good people gotta pay for all the assholes. The Indians had the best way of living. You know, when they would uproot and move to another area. All right, when it started, you know, the land started fouling, you know, and waste and stuff like that, they would uproot and go somewhere else and come back a year later or 2 years later, and it'd be all perfect again. See, the Indians were, you know, there was like what? There's only like 150 tribes left, like the Mohawk, the Cherokee. There were like 1,500 different ones that were wiped right off the face of this earth by the U.S. government. The biggest friggin', I mean, they talk about friggin' what Hitler did. Ain't nothing what we did. Send the wagon trains. See, Indians are born alcoholics. They can't take one drink without going insane and wanting more. So they used to send the wagon trains down full of whiskey. So when they drank all the whiskey and they couldn't fight, they used to send they had a certain type of soldier they sent down there. And they killed men, women, and babies. They killed children, babies, and women, and all the men. And then all the treaties that were made with them by the U.S. government, okay, the treaties, all right, oh, we got to take this, we got to move you, they moved them further west, till they were out in the desert where nobody wanted it. And still they made the land work for them. You got to hand it to those people, man. Yes, we're the friggin' strangers here. I love it when they say Christopher Columbus discovered America. Yeah, the friggin' Indians were here, you stupid bastards. I mean, did you figure that one out yet, people? See, there's a big I can't say the word, ecological disaster that's just about to hit people. And you know, I took a walk in the forest the other day. I couldn't even walk anywhere. You know, I couldn't even walk inside it, like, because it has all kinds of these weeds growing, and you got this. You can't move, see? You can't really walk in that stuff. There's nowhere to walk. You know, it's like you gotta friggin', it's like walking in a jungle. You can't even walk through it no more. That's all the shit that's happening. The bugs, the mosquitoes, they're carrying an H1N1, the friggin' mosquitoes locally, and people were dying. Over 1,000 people died last year of that, last summer. Oh, something big's coming.